So, what is the best parenting advice that I ever received? Wow, that's such a loaded question. In talking about this, I want everybody to know I just got my master's degree in human service counseling and life coaching from Liberty University. And this was a big topic that we talked about a lot. We talked about marriage, we talked about family. And I really kind of focused in on parenting because I think it's such an important topic that if you're lucky enough to be a parent, that we go through nowadays is being a parent is not an easy thing. And there's no written handbook that you can follow, or I'm a military guy and a pilot, so there's no checklist that I can go down and say, if this happens, then do this, and being a pilot, when you're starting the aircraft, you go step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Well, it doesn't work that way in parenting. And in parenting, there's no two situations alike, although there's a lot of parenting situations that are very similar, that we can learn from each other. So when you talk about things like social media, for example, social media is such a big deal, and it's different if I talk about my 3 kids, from Braden that's 21 to Megan that's 18 to Lainey that's 14. The social media aspects are so different for each and every one of them. We sat their phones down one time at dinner, and we sat there for an hour, and Braden got like 3 or 4 Snapchats, and Megan, I think, had like 10 Snapchats. Well, Lainey, who was 13 at the time, she had 70 Snapchats. And as we were talking about that situation right there, she said, it's one of those things where if she doesn't respond to those Snapchats, people might think that she's mad at them. So think about that. So what advice, me and my wife, who are an older generation, we don't really understand that. So when your child comes to you for advice, what kind of advice do you give them on social media? And social media is a scary thing. And that's just one topic because, some people say, well, I'm not going to allow my child to get a phone. Well, is that realistic nowadays to not let your child get a phone? Because if they don't get a phone, it's a catch-22. You don't let them have a phone, so you don't let them have social media. But then it might lead to them being bullied, which is a big problem that people, have nowadays. So in parenting, this question is a great question. What's the best piece of advice that I've ever gotten as a parent? And man, that's such a loaded question because I've gotten a lot of good advice as being a parent. And I think what Convene will allow us to do is share that advice. One of the things that I think that we all need to be aware of is be proud of your kids. Be proud of them and talk about them and all that. But listen to everybody while they tell you how proud they are. We are the lucky ones. That's another experience that we have in Convene. And we are the lucky ones because we are extremely lucky to be parents. And so Convene Parenting is a community that I think that we can continue to grow, and we can share experiences and learn from one another. And I hope it becomes, one of the biggest and best communities that we have here at Convene. So I look forward to getting your responses. Go over to the discussion board and continue to share what makes your kids special. I want to hear, why are you proud of your kids? And let me know what kind of advice so I can, become a better parent. And it's not just about me being a parent. It's about, what do I tell my kids? They're getting to the age where in a few years from now, I'm going to be a grandparent and they're going to be a parent. What advice do I give them? So enjoyed you being a part of this, and thanks for listening.